Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. This is a mini episode. The theme of this episode is husband problems slash like affairs, kind of a little bit. So the first episode, not the first episode, the first title of the first story is Am I the asshole for telling my husband that he created this mess and he needs to fix it? My husband and I always planned on having kids. It ended up happening a couple of years before we planned due to a condom breaking. I didn't mind though. I was super happy to welcome our daughter, Belinda. A few years later, we started trying again for a second, but it took us a little bit to conceive, and we ended up having to use IVF. The doctors never figured out why I couldn't get pregnant the old fashioned way. The second time, but after one round, my husband and I welcomed our son, Philip. Belinda is now 15 and Philip is 9. A close family friend of ours is going through their own infertility journey. My husband and I were discussing it. I mentioned something about IVF, and Philip asked me what that was. I explained and then added, We used that to have you. Belinda asked if we used IVF to have her. I was about to answer no and leave it at that, and when my husband butted in with, No, you're here because the condom broke, laughing, Belinda immediately looked hurt. We've had the talk and have discussed that sometimes they aren't effective, how to use them properly, and other forms of birth control, so she understood exactly what he was saying. I quickly added, You were a surprise, but a much welcomed surprise. We always planned on having kids. It just happened a few years sooner than expected. Belinda just nodded and quietly said, Okay. But I could tell that she was really upset. I later told my husband to apologize and make sure she understands that she's loved and wanted. He told me I was overreacting. I spoke with Belinda and told her she was loved and wanted. She seemed to feel a little better, but still wasn't completely happy. It's been a few weeks, and Belinda has made little jabs here and there, not in a playful way. Clearly, she's still hurt. She'll say things like, Well, clearly, as I was some big mistake, and sorry for inconveniencing you, to her dad. My husband got fed up and told her that she's being dramatic, and he didn't mean anything by that comment. He later told me to tell her to cut it out. I said no. He said it made her feel like crap and hasn't spoken to her about it since. He has to deal with the consequences of that. She's a sensitive teenage girl. That's a scary combination when they feel rejected and unwanted by their fathers. My husband is now saying I'm in the wrong. Am I the asshole? I don't think necessarily you're the asshole. And obviously, I'm not saying like this girl shouldn't feel that way because obviously your feelings are valid. And if you feel badly because of that, that's fine. But I was a mistake and I really did not care. I do not give a shit. Like, okay, my parents still love me. So that's the biggest thing here. I feel like as long as her parents are making sure that she's knowing that she's loved and like her dad treats her well as a father and the mother treats her well as a mother. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's fine, but obviously like she's just a teenage girl, so she doesn't truly that might to her be something totally different and might be something big. To me, I'm pretty sure I knew ever since like I was probably 10 years old that I was just a mistake. But like it wasn't like that. It wasn't like my mom was like you're a mistake and I wish I never had you. You know, like I always knew my mom and my dad loved me, so I never thought anything of it. Like we were just it was just like a joking thing. And it was like, yeah, you were all mistakes. Like we were me, my brother, my sister. I mean, not really like my parents both wanted kids, but it just like happened out of nowhere. And my sister especially because she was born before like my parents were even married and my mom and my dad were very young. They were still teenagers when they had my sister. So that was obviously like a different scenario, but then once they were married after I think they got married shortly after. I don't even know actually. I think they got married shortly after they found out that my sister was in the belly in the womb. And then after that, like they just kind of got pregnant when they got pregnant, I guess. Or they just like weren't careful. Then they had my brother and then they had me and all of that. So yeah, I think like a lot of people are mistakes and maybe just like telling her it's really not like that. Like a lot of people are born just out of nowhere randomly. It's I don't know. I get like I totally think that the dad should have like a talk with her because obviously like you're a dad, you're supposed to be a mature adult and have a talk with her and be like, "Honey, like trust me, I didn't mean it like that. It was a joke. I was just joking, being silly. I love you. You're wanted obviously." Like I do not regret you being born. I'm so happy that you're here, but it's just a joke. It's a silly thing. A lot of people are born out of randomness, if that makes sense. But yeah, we're going to read some of the comments. Someone said, my mom was a whoops baby, and so was I. My son was also. And if we were honest, I think a lot of people on this earth are whoopsie babies. One of the best things I've ever heard to be said to a child that wasn't planned came from my grandma to my mom. My grandma told my mom, at first, I didn't know what I was going to do with you, but after you were here, I had no idea what I'd ever do without you. My mom was 4. My mom was number 4. Maybe something along these lines from your husband may make her feel better, but he will have to suck up his pride and not be the asshole and have that conversation with her. Good luck. Oh, I love that. That's so cute. That's always like what I felt like with my mom. Like she was always like, I would not know where I would be without you. Like I love you so much. But yeah, you were a mistake. And I'm like, sis, I really don't give a shit. I'm here. Either way, I'm here, damn it. Like I didn't ask to be here, but here I am. The next title of the next story is I, female 32, just found out my husband, male 33, has been having an effed up affair, dynamic, whatever it is, it's cheating, with the mom of our child's best friend. How do I stay calm before going nuclear? I can't believe I'm even writing this, and apologies if some of this is too much for here. Right now, I couldn't face telling any of my friends and need help navigating the next 48 hours before I go absolutely apeshit. We moved here to be close to a good school for our child. We're in a nice estate with the school being a few-minute walk. Our daughter is 5 and mostly my husband does the school runs and clubs. My work makes this hard for me to do. He works from home 100% of the time. Our daughter's best friend also stays along the road, so mornings and home times they walk together. They also do a few clubs together. We sometimes meet up at soft plays, etc. at weekends, so both my husband and I have the mother's number. She's very pretty, and initially I thought she was quite intimidating, but me and her actually get along really well, and we text often. I thought I had made a genuine friend in her. My husband texts her frequently as well, but he's never given me a reason to snoop. She's also married, but her husband is in the army and is gone for long periods of time. I can count on one hand the amount of times I've actually seen him home in the almost 3 years we've lived here. Just the beginning of this week, the doorbell app went off, and as I know my husband's home, I never really look at the notifications, but I accidentally opened the app instead of swiping the notification away. The app opened, and I see him and her leaving our house, which I thought was odd. The next day, I pay more attention to this and noticed about 30 minutes before school's due to finish, she just walks up and opens our door. I called him, just saying I was bored and what was he up to. He said just trying to quickly finish work so that he can do the school run. I had a horrible feeling from there. That night, I plugged in this little camera we had for the dog when he was a puppy that you can pan across the room. Yesterday, like clockwork, she appears again, just walks right in. I quickly opened the camera app to see this woman forcibly push him onto the stairs, stand on the stair above him, pull her trousers down, and literally rub her arse up and down his face. I wish I was kidding. Oh my god. That's actually insane. He clearly wasn't fully forced to do this. He was definitely enthusiastic about the whole thing, but she very much took charge. This was literally all that happened. I went to my car to watch, and for a solid 20 to 25 minutes, all she did was make him lick it. They then composed themselves and left for school like nothing happened. I've never broken down like that in my life. When I got home, I told him I was feeling ill and just wanted to go to bed. I skipped dinner, just lay in bed going through every emotion. He eventually came to bed and I waited until he was asleep, grabbed his phone, and spent hours going through it. The upshot is there's some sort of dom slash sub dynamic going on, and it's literally just what I saw them doing. There's not been any actual sleeping together. He's not allowed to touch anywhere else, strictly just her bum. It's been happening most days at least once for months. She texts him telling him she's on her way and he better be ready. I have, however, seen texts from her saying he will get to F her, but that's what he's working towards. What in the hell? How on earth do you start something like that so quickly with someone who has been getting increasingly involved in our lives, through our kids no less? My mind is blown. I'm so hurt, angry, embarrassed, disgusted with him and her. Like, what do I actually do here? I can't stay with him, but now I need to move away from this area, uproot everything, move schools, just because these two want to live some weird fantasy. I've just watched her turn up to the house again today. I started to watch the camera in the house, but had to turn it off. I'm so effing angry. I'm going home to do the same as I did yesterday, and I plan on going nuclear on him tomorrow night or Saturday. That way, there's time to plan something for school on Monday. My mind just now is saying that we're done. There's no coming back from this. But what steps can I be taking to ensure I come out better off in this situations? I have a few photos of messages, plan to take lots more tonight. I'm trying to work out how to leave the camera recording tomorrow, but I'm clueless. I don't even know if it has that function. We're in the UK, so if anyone knows the best steps I can take from here, I would greatly appreciate the advice. Okay, seeing your husband doing that with a woman would actually, I would vomit everywhere. Because knowing that I've been kissing that mouth that's on someone's booty hole, like, no, no. Ew. I would never forget it. Obviously, it's over. So over. Oh my god, I'd be so done with that. If anything, as well, seeing that, I would just feel so embarrassed for him. Like, you're doing that right before picking up your kids from school while your wife is at work. Like, you're embarrassing. You're an embarrassing human being. Why are you doing that? It's literally so appalling. Okay, if you want to do that with your partner, all power to you. I don't care what you're doing. But to do that with an affair partner is insane to me. I mean, to have an affair in the like first place obviously is insane, and it's just a terrible thing. You're a terrible human being. But to be going those lengths and just like, I'm sorry, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm scared. Okay, some of the comments. You're thinking clearly despite how insane this is. There's no coming back from it. So focus on protecting yourself, gather enough proof to cover yourself, but don't drive yourself crazy with details. Stay calm and plan your next steps. Leave that guy. Yes, and do not go nuclear. Gather the evidence for court, exercise, and lessen your energy. You need to stay calm. Get mad, but stay silent. Trust me when I say that they will suffer so much more if you show calm and collected energy. If you do not want to really rustle their feathers and make them feel just as blindsided and helpless, walk in the door and interrupt them. Say no words. Make eye contact with both. Turn and close the door and get into your car with 0 words. The less you say, the more they will implode. If he asks you to talk, you can just say no thanks. There isn't anything to talk about. This man knew full well what his actions would cost him his family, and he chose to do this. I doubt you'd have done this to him because your values are loyalty and respect. His are not. You do not share similar morals and values needed to be compatible. It sucks when we realize we've chosen our partner and they are not who we hoped that they were. But he betrayed you, not the other way around. You don't owe him anything more. You held up your end of the lifelong commitment you wanted to share with him. He broke the bond and trust, and you didn't deserve that. Do what's best for you, thrive and heal from this, and only surround yourself with people who share your values and morals. Don't abandon yourself and try to change your values to make it work. That only breeds resentment, and you deserve more. Yup. Let's go. I also feel like no matter what it like camera it is, I have a camera for my cats in the cat room so that like I can check on them whenever I want to. And it has a recording function, but it's like fairly easy to use. You just use the app to do it. So I'm wondering if she ever figured out that this was 4 days ago. So I'm interested to like know what happened. And I would absolutely just be when I was watching them, like I would just screen record what I was seeing on the cameras and be like, but the way that I would never want to see that image in my head again, that would scar into my brain. That would literally burn a hole into my brain, and I would be just so disgusted by that. That's insane. Okay. The next story is titled, Am I the Asshole for Getting My Father's Affair Partner Fired After Exposing Her Affair and the Fact that She's an Unmarried Mother to the school that she worked at? My mom and I found out in September that my father had been cheating on her for at least the past 5 years. How we know it was that long, he had 2 kids with her and the oldest is 4. His affair partner is someone pretty well known. She made a name for herself for pushing Christian family values. She's been on a local radio spewing hate for a lot of different people. I know someone who was her student before, and she was a real asshole to all of them, always judging them for being in a private Christian school and not being Christian enough. She left her job for a while, and I guess that's when she had the 2 kids. She started at a new school a couple of years ago, another Christian private school. When mom and I found out who she was, we were very much in the what the F category. My father wanted me to give her a chance and to not hold the affair against him and get to know his family. But since I'm 17, he couldn't force me, and I told him I wanted nothing to do with him, her, or their kids. It bothered me so much that I ended up looking up the school she worked for, and I saw that they had a code of ethics for their teachers, and she violated it in 2 ways. one with the affair, and two with having kids before marriage. So I anonymously contacted the school and shared that info with them, and she ended up being fired. They didn't figure out I was the one who did it until last month when her appeal ended and she saw some of the evidence that they had against her. Of course, they were angry and accused me of being awful and spiteful and think of the kids, blah, blah, blah. I really don't care what they think, and I love seeing that arrogant a-hole knocked off her high horse. I don't feel bad, and even if they ended up homeless and in a shelter because of it, that's not my problem. But my aunt, who I was always super close to, sided with them on that. She said what I did was incredibly spiteful, and it would have hurt the kids more than anyone if the consequences were homelessness or whatever. She told me I don't have to want anything to do with them, but shouldn't have gone so far. Am I the asshole? I do agree, like, wishing homelessness on someone is a little bit a little bit effed up. Also, the kids didn't ask to be here. Like, they were born, yes, but they didn't ask to be born. So that would be terrible. I mean, I understand wanting to do that. And, like, yeah, is that probably something I would do as a younger teenager and figuring that out? Yes, probably. Because I would be so enraged if I found out if my parents were married and I was 17 and I found out that my dad was having a major affair with some little wench. I would beep, beep, beep. Hello? Yeah, so this lady isn't who you think she is. And yeah, I'd be probably crazy. Okay, probably. But do I think that's, as a 26-year-old right now, do I think that's the right thing to do? No. Would I do that right now? I can almost say with 100% certainty, no. But yes, would I want to and would I think about it? I'd be like, oh my God, I could so easily, like, because I honestly, there's like a couple past friends that I don't, mm, I guess I was friends with, but like kind of forced to be friends with them because like I was friends with their friends and we like never really got along. But like, we just like pretended like we got along. Does that make sense? I feel like everyone has those friends that honestly, one of them also is like kind of a big influencer now. You guys probably wouldn't know who she is. And I have like some crazy videos that I could have like leaked and been like, look, but that will literally never happen. I would never do that because that's just like crazy. To me also, I believe in like karma and I believe the energy that the if you put bad energy out there, you're going to get bad energy back. And I don't want that bad energy. I want good energy only, thank you. So, yeah, but anyways, do you will I think about that and will I write about it in my journal and be like pretending that happened and yeah, and I'll be like I could do this and just like if I'm like pissed at that person and I find out something really bad happened, I will be doing that. I will be acting like that happened in my head and be like, "Oh, I could ruin you," but I won't be actually doing it now that I'm 26. But if I was like 16, honestly, I would probably do it as well. But yeah, wishing homelessness on someone is definitely not the best. But that also reminds me of this school. So obviously, as you guys know, I've mentioned about 77 times on here, I went to a private Christian college for 4 years. And I majored in elementary education with a minor in early childhood education. So I had to do student teaching and all that jazz. And I student taught at this Christian school that was like right by it was basically on my college campus. And it was connected to a church and it was an academy, and basically when they like tell you and teach you about if you were to get a job offer there or whatever, and there's like a whole ass freaking contract that you have to sign, and it's like you will not drink more than half a glass of wine a week. If you have alcohol, that's all you can have, all this stuff. And I'm like, you have me f's up if you think that you are going to control my life like that. Are you kidding me? Because it's like you have to uphold a certain standard. See, this is the kind of experiences I've had with the Christian religion, guys. It genuinely ticks me off because I was just like so immersed in that community for so much of my life. And like, love you, love you, love you if you're Christian and you've had a great experience being Christian and you love it. But genuinely, I can I can even count on my fingers how many bad experiences I've had with this community in multiple areas as well. Like, I'm not even just talking about, oh, yeah, of course you're going to like encounter bad people. No. This was back home when I lived in Iowa, multiple different churches. This was me in Florida, multiple different churches, multiple different peoples, multiple different communities. Like, so many different, it's just, it was across the board. And I've had so many experiences with just awful, 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 awful human beings who hide behind the facade of Christianity and say they're just like the most holier than thou person in the world. Like, you're disgusting for doing that. And I literally, I'm pretty sure for the first probably year, because you have to live on campus the freshman year of college at this university. And you like can't move off unless you give like a valid reason why you can, until, or why you have like need to, I think until junior year. But I got to move off sophomore year because I was like, I can't afford it. Basically, that's the reason that I gave, and they approved it, which was, thank God, because it was fucking miserable living on that campus. Like, literally curfew. Literally, why do I have 85 moms that are more strict than my mom? Because my mom was never that strict. Why do I have a fucking curfew? Also, I would get judged so hard because I got a boyfriend like right away, which God bless me, but honestly, I wish I didn't. And I don't know, I guess like people were spreading rumors about me, and people knew that we were like hooking up, which who gives a fuck? Like, yeah, we're hooking up. I am a grown adult. Like, okay, maybe I'm only 19, but still, whatever. I have a boyfriend, okay? I can do whatever I want. I'm legally an adult. The RAs would be judging me because I kissed a boy before marriage. I can't believe you kissed someone before marriage. Yeah, and I did a lot more than that. You want to know? Do you want me to describe to you in detail, or are you going to light on fire? You're going to burn or something. Like, hello? Are you good? Like, they would be so insanely judgmental to my face as well. And I would just be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm literally living this life right now. I can't even, I get so worked up when I think about it, because just that experience was just actually insane, and I could go on and on about that. I mean, some of those people were so crazy, and I was like so judgmental. But you couldn't stay in each other's rooms. Like, as male and female, we had like 1 hour a week visitation. What am I, in fucking prison? I have to get visitation, and you're gonna like what, scan them at the door, make sure they have no lube with them? Like, Jesus. It was so insane. And we had to have feet on the floor, horizontal all the time. It was like, leave enough room for Jesus. That's what they said. Leave enough room for Jesus. So like, you couldn't be too close together. You had to leave the door open. You couldn't be under covers. There's so many rules for this visitation that, like, why am I going to do that? I'm just going to go in the alley and make out with my boyfriend, to be honest with you. People would walk in like every 10 minutes and make sure you're not under the covers. If you were laying down even slightly, they'd come in and be like, guys, leave enough room for Jesus. Please, for the love of God. I don't want Jesus here. I don't want Jesus here. Like, love you, Jesus, but I'm hanging out with my boyfriend. I don't want to leave room for you. Sorry. I want to cuddle and hug my boyfriend and lay on a bed like a normal human being with my boyfriend. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, fine. If the rules were to like not engage in sexual activity, that's fine. But yeah, we had like 1 hour a week of visitation with boys, and they had to like sign in and sign out. And any other time, they couldn't even walk up to you with your like in your room. They could not even do this. Okay. It was so crazy. So like, if I wanted my boyfriend to, if I was like in class and I was like, oh shit, I forgot something, I couldn't even have my boyfriend go up and get it from my dorm, because they just weren't even allowed in there. So, anyways, my boyfriend was in one of the dorms that was a little less strict, and there was a way that I could sneak in. Actually, two of the dorms. So he was in one dorm that was like this, and then he moved the next year to a different dorm, and it was like similar. They were both pretty easy, so I would sneak in and stay in his room. And like, both of the times he just got lucky. The first time, I think he had like no roommate at all, so he got lucky, and I would stay there like a lot of the nights. I would just sneak up there and go in there. And then that, like, when he moved to his other dorm, it was a little bit harder because there was like cameras and stuff, and I would have to like dodge them like I'm Kim Possible, like, dun, 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 what's the sitch? And I'd literally be like a little spy, and I would have to like dodge the cameras and go through the garage this certain way, and then like walk through really fast to get to his room. And then one of the times, like, oh my God, literally, I think it was like finals. It was like the last day that I was going to be there. Finally, I was about to be summertime. I was going home. I really didn't care. I did care, actually. I was scared shitless, because like you can get kicked out for that, which is bonkers to me, but was in my room. I was in his room and we were sleeping, and we literally, oh my God. It was crazy because we wake up from a knock on the door, but it's a knock and then a just immediate come in. Come in. Like he just one knock opens the door, comes in. It's the RA. Mind you, one of the RAs I thought was really cute, but he was like super, super, super religious and was like not into relationships at all. And so obviously I never made any moves. But anyways, he came in and I was like, middle of my slumber, middle REM cycle. I opened my eyes. Oh, Lord, I'm about to get fucked. And he was like, Jamie, will you come talk to me in the hallway? And I was like, okay. So I go in the hallway and he's like, this isn't supposed to be happening. No, actually, we were laying in bed and he pulls up a chair next to us and sits down in the chair and was like, you're not supposed to be here. And I was literally so scared. I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm not. And then he's like, okay, let wait in the hallway for me. And then I think he just talked to my like boyfriend, whatever. And then he came in the hallway and talked to me and he was like, this isn't supposed to happen. You're not supposed to do this. All this stuff, like giving me a little speech about it. And then I was so scared because I was like, oh my God, am I gonna get in like huge trouble? Am I gonna get kicked out of this school because I was sleeping in the same bed as my boyfriend? And thank God I didn't, but I literally talk about the walk of shame that I did out of that building because it was actually so embarrassing. I literally was walking out of that building and walking through the campus and I was just like, yeah, and at the time, it just felt so scary because it's like I'm breaking the rules and like there could be serious consequences for that. But now that I think back to it, I'm like, I was literally doing the most normal thing you could ever do. It's not crazy to be in college and sleeping in the same bed as your boyfriend. But obviously, like at the time, it was just so scary because it was like, oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble. But yeah, that's my story. Sorry, went off on that long tangent and kind of went every which way explaining that story. I'm not the best at telling stories, but I always like to add like extra fluff and extra detail that I don't need to add, but I always do it anyways. And it's like, okay, get the motherfucking point. Get to the point, girl. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Please let me know what you thought in the comments. And if you haven't already, press the like and subscribe button. And we also have a Spotify. It's in the link below if you ever want to listen on Spotify and rate us 5 stars while you're there. We also have a Discord if you want to chat in our little community that we have there, a subreddit if you want to post or cross post any stories, and all the other links that you would ever need in your life are in the description below. So I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.